Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer 54 back in video. Today we are back. Yes, we're back. And we're gonna be reacting to the film theory. We know what's gonna happen in FNAF 2. Now let's be honest, FNAF 2 is it's a lot of hype. Especially since we're getting it almost at the last month of this year. So you know I'm hype about it, and you know everyone else enjoyed the first movie, so I can certainly say that this is going to be just as good, if not better. But anyways, enough talking. You know why we're here. So let's do this reaction video, shall we?
The teaser trailer for
There we go.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has finally dropped, and it managed to pack so much about its plot into just 50 seconds. Enough to solve this movie months before it's
Chungus?
out.
I know I'm not the only one who saw
Hello,
that.
Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show that always comes back.
Dang.
But you can always come back by hitting that subscribe button. So, loyal theorists, the time has come. Five Nights at Freddy's is coming back to theaters this year.
Yes.
In the end game now, and the marketing for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie has started up, with our first big look into the film coming with its official teaser trailer. Now, obviously, FNAF is a huge part of theorist history.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like we've done literally hundreds of videos about this franchise over at our sister location Game Theory.
A lot.
But the films are an entirely different beast, an entirely different timeline to theorize about. Matt trusted me to take on franchises like this as the film theorist. He trusted me to do our very first theory predicting the first movie because he was in it. So it's time to do the same with FNAF.
It was crazy to see him in the movie.
Tom and I have sat down and really put our heads together to figure out what the heck is going on here. Like, clearly this movie is taking cues from the FNAF 2 game, but that was a prequel to the first game, and this is clearly a sequel. What are the consequences of that change, and what does it mean for the story? Well, it might not look like we have a lot to work with to figure that out. I mean, this trailer is barely 45 seconds long.
Yeah.
Can we really crack this movie wide open with just that? Well, we figured out more with less, and I think we've done it, loyal theorists. By looking at this teaser, comparing it to what we know from the game series, adding in our speculation from the fallout of the first movie, and using the rules.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Come on. There we go. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The scheduling of releasing of the videos, I will admit it's been a little bit of a wonky mess. Shoot, this probably you might be seeing my thoughts about the FNAF 2 review. It might have already happened, or it may not have, or it may not have been released yet. As you can tell, a lot of things have happened because of the whole Alex Bale reaction marathon, which was, that was one heck of a week, to say the least. But you can check out on the third channel. Most likely, we'll leave a link to the description box below where you can react to my thoughts on the FNAF 2 movie trailer. Just want to plug that in, but let's get going.
Filmmaking in a horror series like this, I believe I've solved where this movie is headed months before it's out. And not only that,
December 5th, man.
pretty good idea of where the inevitable
On the first week of December.
So grab your
Ooh, and FNAF 3.
loyal theorists, as we take a bite out of this teaser. So, okay, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page after this first movie. Just in case you need a little refresher. I mean, it has been a couple of years at this point, so understandable. Five Nights at Freddy's was the story of Mike Schmidt, a down-on-your-luck young man.
2023 it's been.
As he takes on a job as the night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Mike is haunted by guilt for the death of his little brother Garrett, who was murdered by the serial killer William Afton, who also so happens to be the owner of Freddy's and killed several other children at the pizzeria years ago. And now spirits haunt the restaurant and want Abby to become one of them. So Mike teams up with Afton's daughter Vanessa to take down Afton, save Abby, and hopefully find some peace for the ghost children. Well, at least until this sequel hits, right? Now, with that out of the way, let's go through this teaser shot by shot and frame by frame. We open on a poster for Freddy Fazbear's. The glass on this poster display is broken, which may mean that it's the same poster we see in the first movie.
Okay.
Remember, Max's brother and his gang of hooligans smashed and shattered this glass when they broke into Freddy's in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly the same poster, but it probably doesn't matter since I doubt we'll be spending a significant amount of time here anyway.
Oh, come on!
Regardless, we do know that
Alright, we're back.
To the original pizzeria in some way. We know this thanks to some of our fellow FNAF tubers.
Hey, Daco!
Here we see that the studio rebuilt a facade of the front of the so I doubt we're going to be spending a ton of time inside of it. Either way,
Okay.
this is just an establishing shot for us and the teaser, so let's move.
I'm sorry, again, I have to pause, but I believe, I think I heard that Daco is actually going to be doing an interview with the people who created Secret of the Mimics on May 10th. So if that's something you're interested in, yeah, Daco, he's doing things, man. Like he's doing stuff that I wish I could do. Like, hey, man, respect for Daco, respect for him. But yeah, just in case you guys don't know, Daco will be having an interview with the developers of Secrets of the Mimic on May 10th. What time? I'm not sure. But just know it's happening on that day. So if that's something you guys want to know, there you go. A fellow gamer got you.
Next, we see a shot of an endoskeleton turning on. If you don't know, these are the mechanical parts inside of the animatronics that let them move and work. We
Yeah.
actually see some of them getting worked on in the previous movie, but it's also worth noting that this one from the teaser, it isn't the same type. This is an Endo O2, a more advanced type of endoskeleton
Yeah.
we first saw in the FNAF 2 game. And I mean, hey, that makes sense. Like, it's the FNAF 2 movie, of course they're taking cues from the FNAF 2 game. Anyway, you
Yeah.
can tell this thanks to the curved mouth on this one. The original endoskeletons in the first movie had squared off mouths. And there's a voiceover for William Afton welcoming us back to Freddy's. Welcome back. Are you ready to start the show? It's a nice meta touch to get us back into this world. But in
Yeah.
the universe, this is likely a recording or a flashback to when one of the restaurants is having its big opening. Since Afton is welcoming us back, I'm guessing that this is the sister location. It just seems more relevant than, say, the original location undergoing some sort of renovation and then reopening just for the sake of it. Either
Yeah.
way, I expect that Afton's ghost will be using this audio to great effect. Like, if this is an actual audio recording, I can see him using it to torment Mike and the others. It would just be super creepy, and I'm all for it.
Yeah,
So,
and
we see
on
ourselves
brand.
in some sort of circus or fair. It's almost certainly Freddy Fazbear themed since we see kids in the background dressed up as characters from Freddy's.
Yeah.
There are also some themed attractions using those characters here.
Come on, it has to be
Certain
fall.
that this is going to be an
Yes.
event called
Oh.
FazFest. We know that this is likely going to be a big part of the story since those YouTubers I mentioned earlier, like Daco, visited the set and found posters for this event. Now, this
Yeah.
is interesting because the idea of a circus or of a carnival or fair is a big talking point in the FNAF community right now.
It
I
is.
briefly mentioned this in my last FNAF movie theory, but in the lore of the Freddy's games, there was an event called Fall Fest that ran from around 1970 until at least 1980.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge part of the history of these characters in this world, and Scott seems to be bringing these ideas into the film universe in a new way. Let's be real, that makes sense with the way the movies have been streamlining and combining the expansive lore of the series, so yeah. The
Yeah.
next thing we see is Abby pulling up to the second Freddy's location on her bike.
Bro, I'm just waiting for the next Fall Fest type thing. We need a carnival theme FNAF game. Because I genuinely felt like Secret of the Mimics was going to be that game, but apparently we're in a factory sort of way. And best believe on Third Channel, we're going to be talking extensively because literally next month is going to be the release of Secrets of the Mimic. And I'm not going to lie, I got caught lacking. Again, the Alex Bale SpongeBob Conspiracy Marathon took a lot of effort on that one. So best believe there's going to be a lot of videos coming over to the Third Channel. But anyways.
This is the sister location, so to speak. So there are actually a few things we can gather from this shot. First off, if we look at both the state of the restaurant and the surrounding area, this location has been abandoned for a long time. The outside of the building is run down, and the parking lot is overgrown with weeds and grass and the like. We can actually see this more clearly in those behind-the-scenes set visits from the FNAF tubers. Oh, and funnily enough, this building is actually in the same parking lot as the facade of the first Freddy's location that they built for this movie. But just so everyone's aware, that doesn't mean that they're going to be in the same location or even anywhere close to each other in the actual movie.
It's just
Film
shooting.
productions do this sort of thing all the time, reusing sets and locations and either changing the camera angles or background details to make them seem like different locations.
Yeah.
It just saves on production costs, which is almost certainly what's happening here since this is a relatively low-budget horror film. Anyway,
Yeah.
the second thing that we can gather from this shot of Abby, well, given Abby's expression here, she's likely never been to this location before, so she's likely been drawn here by something. And I think I know what that thing is. Right after this in the teaser, we see a
Gone
shot
to
of
fix
Mike
my
finding a note
friends.
taped to his door, reading, "Gone to fix my friends." This is probably from Abby and is explaining why she's left and gone to the sister location. The friends that she's talking about here in the note are probably the ghosts in the original animatronics. If you remember, Abby was super close to them in the previous film, enough so that they wanted her to be like them. But they seem to end the last movie in a little bit of peace. So this note tells us that they're still in
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be pausing a lot. I apologize greatly for that one. But like, I'm not sure if it's Abby. Just like maybe there's going to be a scene in the movie where Abby gets a little convincing. Like maybe she gets convinced by one of the ghost spirits. Because I'm not gonna lie, if I was if I was if I was like locked in with the kids, right? The spirits, right? Like we cool and all that, but then they decide to shove me in a spring lock suit, trying to make me an animatronic. I don't know, Abby. You're a little too forgiving. If it was me, I am staying away from that place that almost tried to lock me up. I don't care if we made a. I don't care if we made a pizzeria fort along with Vanessa and Michael. You try to kill me. I'm just saying. I feel like we're going to at least have to see Abby getting convinced or like something because this movie does take place after, and there's going to be some years pass because I'm pretty sure Abby's now somewhat of a teenager now. Yeah, like she's now a teenager. We saw Michael in the trailer. We saw him. He's very much adult now. Well, not well. I mean, he doesn't look different, but you get it. He's a lot more older than he was the first time around. So definitely speaking, I just think Abby needs to be a little bit more needs to be more convinced in that. Okay, she needs to be a little bit. We need Abby needs to be convinced more because ain't no way she's gonna go there off riff.
contact with Abby, and that something has gone wrong since the last movie. Now, that thing that's gone wrong could be a lot of things. Being trapped in new animatronic bodies, being tortured by Afton's ghost, but another big option,
I'm pretty
perhaps
sure
that
he's gonna be
AI
coming
has
back. He
gotten
ain't
a
no
rogue in
ghost.
these animatronics and is somehow controlling or hurting the spirits. Anyway, we might also know how they're talking to Abby. During one of his charity live streams, Daka revealed an image of a Fast Talker toy provided to him by the film's production, with a screen on it reading, "You there?" Basically, if I had to guess, this looks like a way that the ghosts are communicating with the living characters.
Boo.
Now, this thing is strange because nothing like it has ever really appeared in the games. The closest we get is Afton's walkie-talkie in Sister Location, which he
Oh,
uses to
I was
communicate
about to
with the
say,
demonic
like,
child.
what
But
about those
that
like
is
walkie
weird, and
talkies
different than
from
what we're seeing here. The
Ruin?
ghosts in the film seem to be able to just talk to Abby and communicate with other characters like Mike through their dreams. So perhaps this Fast Talker is a way for them to do so without needing them to be asleep. We then see a conversation between Vanessa and Mike, where Vanessa is warning him that they're out there, Mike. She's likely talking about the animatronics, which we'll get to in just a sec.
Yeah.
The big things here? Well, first off, Vanessa has completely recovered from her hospital stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess perhaps she was not a robot as much as Matt might have wanted her to be.
Dang.
The other big thing here is that she's not wearing her cop uniform, either here or in any other shot in the teaser. Don't get me wrong, she could still be a cop and just be taking some time off or something. But this
I
tells me
mean,
that
yeah. I
she's
mean,
either
you got
stepped
stabbed.
back from that role or has been let go from the force for some reason. We see another shot of her holding a gun later in the teaser, so she might still be on the force, but I wouldn't be surprised if her connection to a serial killer was somehow revealed and compromised her job. But
Yeah.
anyway, why was she warning Mike that they're out there? Well, that's because of the next few shots that we see here. Yeah, we immediately see what looks like Toy Bonnie peeking in through a curtain into a window of a house.
Yep.
Shortly afterwards.
Oh, come on. All right, we back. Okay, we back. But like, it was still surprising that my boy Toy Fred. My apologies. I'm just surprised Toy Freddy just. I say it again. It's crazy that Toy Bonnie literally just showed up with a knife. My man's was. Ah! I can't do it. Keep going.
A couple of other shots of Toy Bonnie lifting up some sort of needle as if he's about to attack.
Needle?
And
You
a
being
shot
a
of
little
Bubble cowering
generous.
in fear inside of a living room. These two shots are back to back, and though trailer editing doesn't mean that they're 100% connected, I'd be shocked if they weren't. Big picture here, though, is that Toy Bonnie and the other toy animatronics, as we're about to see, are no longer confined to the pizzeria.
They're outside roaming.
Deal. See, the animatronics going out and about But that's not nearly the same as the animatronics, just like straight up roaming the streets like we see here. This is extra strange too, because it's established in the series that this would be pretty difficult for them. Glamrock Freddy from Security Breach explains that if the animatronics leave the Pizzaplex, they will eventually run out of power. Some endings have Freddy using a car battery to stay active because of this. And it's not just the Security Breach animatronics either, but in the week before.
And like even then, like I don't think it'll be like, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like the whole ending where Glamrock Freddy does escape with Gregory, and Gregory just using a car battery to charge up my boy. But like, that's just only a temporary solution. Like, how many cars can we actually hijack and just plug Glamrock Freddy in so that he can have a little bit more power? Like, it just doesn't feel like that, you know? Because I know for a fact that sneaking in the pizzeria after all that was going to be near impossible.
Novel, a story set in the week before the FNAF 1 video game, one of the main goals of the original animatronics is to be able to leave the pizzeria. To do this, they overcharge themselves so they don't need to charge themselves again, at least for a while. These toy animatronics might need to recharge at some point, giving our heroes a ticking clock that they can outlast as the animatronics slowly have to power down, perhaps over a series of days. So basically, they'd have to survive 5 nights at Freddy's.
Ha!
5 nights outside of Freddy's. Of course, this scene with Toy Bonnie isn't the only scene throughout the teaser with the animatronics
Very
outside
funny.
of the pizzeria. Later on, we see a man played by classic character actor Wayne Knight peering through a closet window in a school. He sees
The Verminator?
on the other side before she pulls him through the window, presumably.
Dang, my boy got Verminated. I'm sorry.
A room similar to this, likely before or after she's pulled this man into the room, as well as a shot of Toy Chica opening some sort of garage with her hands. There's also shots of Mangle breaking in through a window.
Let's go!
Crashing into a car windshield, and then someone getting attacked and pulled up to the ceiling by Mangle. It looks like that last scene probably also takes place in this school. And another shot shortly after this sees another new character, a blonde girl, looking up and screaming. Given the angle of this shot looking down at this girl, this is likely from Mangle's point of view. I wouldn't be surprised if it's immediately connected with the shot of Mangle pulling the other guy up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
If I were to guess, this is likely a scene similar to the first movie where a bunch of side characters are killed to show just how dangerous these new animatronics are. I wouldn't be surprised if these characters go to school with Abby and are bullies or something similarly unlikable. We also see another shot of Mike.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I feel like I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Abby would get attacked by bullies. To be honest, if what would you do if you hear someone saying, "Oh, one time me and my brother we hanged out with some animatronics that they were talking and everything, and I had to fight them off by drawing a picture and exposing the evil yellow bunny." Like, what? But it hurts me. Like, I really don't want Abby to get bullied. But let's be honest, school sucks. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. But hey, man, all we know is that if they are bullies, well, we're gonna. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. Keep going.
Abby and Vanessa in what looks like an office in a school or some random house, looking terrified. So I'm betting that this school sequence is actually a big set piece for the movie. We then see a man's hand pressing a Showtime button to start an animatronic show. This is likely at the sister location since we see a different Showtime button.
Possibly William Afton.
That one's on a wall, not a podium. Next up, we have a shot of a silhouetted man in a hallway as doors fly open. This is actually a really effective shot. In my opinion, it's very creepy. This man is almost certainly William Afton.
Indeed.
His build just looks a lot like actor Matthew Lillard, and we know that he's going to be in this movie somewhere. I'm going to say that this is either a dream sequence where he's haunting Mike and Vanessa, or it's literally his ghost haunting the two. Also worth noting that there are 6 doors in this scene, perhaps representing the 5 kids that Afton murdered from the restaurants, and Mike and Abby's brother Garrett's, whom he also killed. This is likely setting up for reminding us of Afton's connection with Mike and Garrett's, which will be explored later in the series. Actually, while we're on the subject, I gotta say, I think it's surprising the lack.
Oh, yeah. Before we keep going, and I know, I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but I think I heard some rumors that they were actually going to add Charlie Emily into the movie. And again, like I talked about this in a video long ago. I'm pretty sure I can find it, and I'll leave it in the description box below, so that way you can talk about it. I mean, you can listen to me talk about it. But like, we know for a fact with the toys showing up, and we know for the fact that the shadow animatronics are going to definitely show up. Again, another video I'm planning to do. Jeez, there's a lot of FNAF stuff I can do. But I know for a fact the puppet has to be here. There ain't no way that the puppet don't show up. And we had this discussion before where we talked about whether the puppet should be Garrett or should it be Charlie Emily. And I don't know, like I gotta fact check it, see if Charlie Emily is gonna be in the movie. Because even though yes, I feel like it's a nice way to bring in the Henry Emily in here, adding in Henry and all that, because let's be honest, don't lie to me, you would want to see Henry's speech, his FNAF 6 to William Afton in the live action scene. Like, come on. That speech, man. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of HE double hockey stick has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. Like, come on, you can't tell me you don't want to see that in movie form. But at the same time, I feel like Garrett has to be the puppet. It just feels the more sensible. Again, I made a video about it. I'll leave it in the description box below. But yeah, I just feel like it.
Of Afton that we actually get in this teaser. Other than some voiceover and this scene here, the only other hint we get is a shot of Spring Bonnie's hand picking up a knife. I wouldn't be shocked if he's just not as present in this film as he was in the first one. I mean, it would be weird for him to come back as a big twist third act villain when that's exactly what he did in the first movie, right? The time spent with Afton here in this second movie, in my opinion, would be better spent setting him up as a larger villain in the third film. But I digress. Now we get a shot
Yeah.
of a large balloon boy animatronic, eyes glowing as he activates inside one of the pizzerias. You can tell that it's that because of the
Ah,
checkerboard here in the back of the shots. It's just classic FNAF imagery. Balloon Boy actually returns here from the first movie where he was just like a strange haunted figurine.
yeah.
Talking about a glow up, am I right? So the fact that
I
we're
know
getting a
Michael is
balloon boy
crying right
animatronic
now. I know
isn't that surprising.
he's
I mean,
sick
he
to his
was in the
stomach.
FNAF 2 game after all. But an interesting connection here that we put together, well, in Tom's very first FNAF theory as host of Game Theory, he talked about the Fall Fest and how that makes Balloon Boy make way more sense. Like, a guy holding balloons doesn't really fit super well with animal animatronics, right? But it would make sense at something like a carnival.
Yeah.
A circus. A character walking around handing out balloons to kids and visitors.
Uh
The
huh.
fact that the movie seems to be rolling the idea of the circus in here with Fast Fest just really makes that work even more. And finally, we hear Afton yell showtime before we see Toy Freddy walking through Fast Fest. If you notice, there are tons of other cosplayers here in the background, and it's just a really cool touch.
Yeah.
And that's all of the shots from the trailer, but what can we learn here by reading between the lines? And can we look back at some of our previous speculation and see how it lines up? Well, the first big flag that Matt and I planted in our speculation about the rest of the FNAF movie series was that Garrett, Mike's brother that Afton killed, was going to replace Charlie as the spirit that
Dang
the
it!
puppet. If you don't remember, the puppet was an animatronic introduced in
Aw,
FNAF 2, so
man.
again, it would make sense for them to show up in this
I
movie.
mean,
The
okay,
reasoning was that it
sure,
would sort
but
of give Mike
come
even
on,
more
man.
connection to Afton, offer some real emotional stakes to the other ghosts in the series, and that the puppet was teased in the credits of the first movie, spelling out "Come Find Me." Go check out our full theory talking about that if you want all the details. Well, this teaser gives us another big indication that the puppet is going to be a big player in the rest of this story, whether it's in this movie or a
Oh, come on!
big indication that the puppet is going to be a big player in the rest of this story, whether it's in this movie or another sequel. During some of Afton's voiceover in this teaser, we can hear the music box used to keep the puppet at bay in the FNAF 2 game playing in the background.
Yeah, there it is.
So yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled for more references to this and any indication that this version of the puppet is Garrett, because that is absolutely an arc that they're following here. A prediction that I'm a little less confident in, though, is my analysis of the script pages that Scott released.
Oh, dang. I thought for sure. I thought for sure he said something around the lines of, Charlie is gonna be the puppet on this one. No, it's still Garrett. Let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go. My ear is not working as well as it must be.
You don't remember? Last year, in honor of the 10-year anniversary of FNAF, Scott released 4 pages of the script real. If you want an in-depth look at these pages and an analysis of them, go check out my theory from last year. But the one
Yeah,
that
I'm
I
pretty
thought was
sure
going
we
to be
did
the
a
real one
reaction to
was
that.
this one, which talked about haunted plushies and Mike coming to the realization that he'd need to burn them. At the time, I was confident that this was pointing to the toy animatronics being the villains of this movie and the need to destroy them. But after this teaser, I'm just less sure about that. I mean, hey, you can't get them all right all the time. See, Abby is the one encouraging Mike to burn the toys in this page, but that doesn't line up with what we see here in the teaser, where it looks like she's the one who wants to help save the plushies. So, what does that mean for the pages? Well, if this one isn't correct, then I think the fourth page is. This one is from the cold open of the movie, describing a man taking his children into what we believe to be one of the pizzerias and into a secret room underneath its carousel. This page is an entirely realistic option. It actually came down to this one and the plushie burning page, but the reason I didn't go with it originally was because some of the characters present in the script probably shouldn't have been here. But now, especially with how the FNAF movie franchise is mixing and matching elements from across the entire game series and timeline, I'm less sure about that. So, okay, if this...
Oh, yeah, because it referenced a gator, a wolf, a hippo, obviously, and also, Montgomery Gator, Roxanne Wolf, and Mr. Hippo. But I'm gonna be honest, I feel like with the addition of I feel like with the addition of Secrets on the Mimic, most definitely we're just gonna see, I don't know, cosplay shows or something. No, not cosplay, but you know what I mean. Like, heck, I wouldn't be surprised if they were just carnival rides for other stuff. Like a different amusement park or something. I just feel it like that. Also, Gemma and Darwin. I feel like they're probably going to be names used in the movie. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if Gemma was used is hold on. Darwin and Gemma. Could they be the names of the supposed bullies that got destroyed by Mangle? I feel like it might be. I'm not sure.
Age is legit, then that then begs the question, who is this guy? This man leading these kids into some level below the pizzeria? Well,
It's William
obvious
Afton.
answer would be Afton, and that this is some sort of flashback, but the page really implies that these kids are his actual children. We don't see Vanessa here in this flashback, so I don't think that this is Afton. So, who is it? Well, I believe that it's the person who's taken over Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and is the entire reason this second movie is happening. Hear me out. So, I'm pretty sure
Oh yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It's
through Fazfest is set in the film's modern day and not during a flashback.
dang,
Why do I think that? Well, think back to
because
those
Toy
set
Freddy's
visit
there,
videos we talked about earlier. In those, Taco and the other FNAF tubers found posters for Fazfest on the facade of the rundown building.
yeah,
If
October
this
12th,
Fazfest was set in the past or
right?
during a flashback, the building
Please
should
tell
be...
me I was right.
In those, Taco
Don't
and the
get
other
me
FNAF
exposed.
tubers found posters...
Yeah, okay. October 12th. So for sure, the movie is going to be taking place on October 12th in movie universe.
If this Fazfest was set in the past or during a flashback, the building shouldn't be nearly this run down. So, okay, Fazfest is set during the modern day, but what does that matter? Well, think about this. The last time that we saw Afton, he was dying in his Springlock suit and his soul was being tortured by Golden Freddy.
Yeah.
So, if Fazfest is set in the current day, and if Afton, the person who owns the Freddy Fazbear franchise, is dead, who is putting on Fazfest? Well, if I were a betting man, just like in FNAF 3, where some third party came in and bought all of the Freddy Fazbear assets to make a horror attraction, someone came in and bought all of Afton's assets after he died, and they're trying to relaunch the Freddy IP with this Fazfest. That is the guy from the cold open page. Oh, and as an aside, this could also explain why Abby feels like she needs to go help her friends. If a new group or company has come in and bought up all of the Freddy Fazbear assets and are trying to relaunch things, they may have taken parts from the previous animatronics to sort of repair or enhance the toy animatronics. And if they mixed and matched parts from the different animatronics, that could leave the spirits feeling mixed up and confused, similar to how
or
the Funtime
agonized.
animatronics from the games were built using remnants, which just jumbled up their spirits. If you don't know what remnant is, bless you, you sweet summer child.
Oh boy, here it goes. But yeah, I feel like it might be the case because honestly, I feel like we don't talk about it enough, really. Especially with the new this new era of FNAF that kickstarted all with Help Wanted. Like we know, like FNAF becomes available. Fazbear Entertainment has become available. It's been bought. Heck, we even saw in Fazbear, no, not Fazbear Frights, Tales from the Pizzaplex, Tiger Rock, that we got someone named Dr. Boro, right? Who I'm not saying he bought it, but he was one of the head producers. He's one of the head machos who took in the FNAF IP, right? So I feel like there is evidence over there that there are a lot of people who are taking a lot of FNAF Fazbear Entertainment stuff. So and let's be honest, we already know the motivation. It's not because of William Afton. It's because that ching ching dala dala. I mean, come on.
It's a long story and not super relevant to this theory today, so just don't worry about it. Anyway, I believe that is the underlying storyline of this film. Someone new has come in to buy up Freddy, and they stumbled into something way darker than they anticipated. They somehow activated the
Heck, they
toy
probably made
animatronics,
release William
angered the
Afton.
ghosts, and now they're on a killing rampage through this town. So Mike, Abby, and Vanessa have to stop the animatronics while helping to save the ghosts, all while they're haunted by the memory of Afton and Garrett. Perhaps literally. So that's a lot. And while that's everything I think we can glean about this movie from this teaser, I do believe we can sit down and look at what they've shown us here and get an idea of where future FNAF movies are going to. See, the
Okay.
very fact that we see the animatronics out and about in neighborhoods and carnivals and schools in this movie means that the FNAF film franchise is following an arc traditional for these sorts of horror films. With every single film, they need to be going bigger and better than the last.
Yeah.
And a school, in FNAF's case. And that tells us a lot about the stories they're going to adapt for the third film. We've talked about this in previous FNAF movie theories before, about how a third FNAF movie likely isn't adapting FNAF 3 because it isn't as exciting a game to transfer to the big screen.
Dang.
If they kept things super faithful, it would just be like Josh Hutcherson and William Afton hanging out in an old building for an hour and a half. It's not exactly riveting cinema. And
Dang.
after watching this teaser, I think Scott and the filmmakers have realized this too, because they already seem to be incorporating a lot of the more interesting details from the FNAF 3 game into this movie, with someone new coming in to restart Freddy's.
Yeah.
Since they're already likely using that plot point from the FNAF 3 game, I doubt that they'd reuse it in the FNAF 3 movie. So they'll need to do something else. FNAF 4 and being stuck in a dream makes even less sense because it's so heavy and weird and isn't the escalation that the filmmakers are probably looking for.
Yeah.
It just feels smaller instead of going bigger. That's the natural arc of these sorts of films.
It has to be FNAF 6, right?
Movies like Jason X, where they jumped the shark so high they ended up in space. So think that through. We went from being in one location in FNAF 1, the pizzeria, where most of the hauntings happen in a single place. Once you actually leave Freddy Fazbear's, the characters were more or less safe for the rest of the movie. Now we're in FNAF 2, where the threats and hauntings have escalated outwards. The animatronics are no longer confined to a single location. They're out and about.
I thought for sure that man was gonna jump scare me.
Like in a neighborhood or at
I'm not gonna lie, I flinched a little. Okay. I got this, alright? I feel like, right? I feel like, maybe, just maybe, they can do FNAF 6. They can do Pizzeria Simulator. I mean, like, imagine a movie where Michael, Vanessa, and Abby decide to make their own pizzeria as a way to lure them in. Heck, they might even team up with Henry, who decided to pop up in the end credits of FNAF 2. Like, FNAF 3 is gonna pull up and it's gonna be like Henry Emily saying, "I have a plan." And they decide to make the pizzeria, make Michael Afton be the decoy for 5 nights, and gather all the remaining spirits. La di da. Michael and Garrett meet. Well, Michael and Ghost Garrett meet. Drama, feelings ensue, and burn William Afton away.
Even bigger than that. My first thought was that maybe, hey, they'll pull a Jurassic Park 2 and we'll end up in a city of some sort. And then I thought, yeah, that'd be kind of dumb. Like, what is Scott gonna do here? Pull out the old Plushies Take Manhattan script? No, man, no.
Come on, please, no.
Something similar to Pizzeria Simulator.
Yes.
I'm also skeptical of that simply because they don't really have enough characters to do the whole gather and burn it all down like we see in that game. Too animatronics just isn't enough.
Oh, come on, it can pull something.
What's the next logical step then? Well, say it with me, security breach.
What?
Yeah, we saw that coming. We already have Vanessa as a main character in these films. A large mall or building like a pizzaplex is a natural escalation for these sorts of horror film franchises. This would let us introduce another new slate of animatronic characters that fit the cast that we've established in these movies, and the bones of the security breach story would allow for closure for Mike, Abby, and Vanessa. They could end the story by burning everything down and releasing the spirits of the dead kids, while moving on from the trauma and experience themselves. Plus, it would allow for this FNAF movie trilogy to hit all of the biggest and most recognizable parts of the FNAF games, while leaving other, more out-there projects like Help Wanted or the novels open for adaptation down the line should the movie franchise be successful enough to continue. It all just makes too much sense.
Let's be honest, it's gonna happen.
I'm planting my flag here now. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is going to be a security breach adaptation. And hey, maybe if it does well enough, one day we'll get far enough along in this series to adapt to FNAF World. I actually think that would legitimately be pretty cool. But hey, that's just a theory of films.
Alright, and that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. Honestly, I'm going to be so hype about it, and best believe, I am going to get opening tickets. I'm going to get over there and be there premiere, to be honest. And I'm going to be watching it and writing down my notes. But I will also say this. I'm not sure if they want to do security breach. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, look. I'm not saying I have a problem with it, right? Because let's be honest. The Phantoms, right? I like them, but I don't know. It's like, it's not hitting that high. The Nightmare animatronics, don't get me wrong. I want to see Nightmare Fredbear, and I want to see Nightmare as well, but like, for all we know, they just might be hallucinations because of toxic gas that William Afton just happens to hit people with. And I'm gonna be honest, either they're actual nightmares or they're just hallucinations made from gas. The the Funtime animatronics, well, yes, I would love to see that. I would love to see Circus Baby, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, heck, even Ennard. I'm gonna be honest, that's gonna take a lot of money. Like, we have to pray and beg that this movie is so good that it just breaks The Office and give us a higher budget to just do the faceplates opening, right? I still feel like FNAF 6 should be the final adaptation because, well, FNAF 6 was supposed to be the final game of the FNAF storyline. So why not make it the final game to adapt in the movieverse? I'm just not sure with security breach. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to see my boy Glamrock Freddy in the big screen. I mean, raise your hand. I mean, come on, raise your hands if you want to see that. I mean, don't lie. Come on, don't lie. I see your hand raising right now. But like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't really fit. We went from the original animatronics to the toy animatronics to the Glamrock animatronics. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Or unless they want to adapt Security Breach just so that MatPat comes back in movie 3 to say, Music Man! It just doesn't feel right with me saying it. But, hey man, I guess we're just going to wait and see. I just hope that the movie is good. I mean, let's be honest, I'm not going to lose faith on it. It is going to be good. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. And subscribe because we got a lot more videos coming up. This has been Juan Gamer 54 signing off.